and I'll let everybody in. But yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. If I put the wrong link in the email I sent today as a reminder, so I apologize about that. I messed that one up. If anybody is still coming in, I'll let them in as we go. So, two things I really wanted to talk about just before we start the season. Obviously, we should have a parents meeting before we start every season. I would have preferred to have it before the winter season, but this is kind of the point we've got to with this. A quick run through again of this stuff. You've seen it before. If anybody's new, I'm a bit of a coaching nerd. I like to. Going through all my badges right now, and then the thing that I'm waiting to hear back from is if I can actually become a US soccer educator, which I should be hearing back someday this week. I had my last interview last Monday, which went pretty well, I thought, but who knows? So that's kind of what I want to do. I do, I obviously love coaching. I love the game. I really enjoy being around these girls particularly as well because I just love their energy and fire. So again, you can read through this yourselves at some point. You don't need to go through that, but that's my philosophy generally. This is what I kind of wanted to get to, the player culture. And again, this is not necessarily something that we have a problem with on this team on certain things of it, but I do want to make sure that we continue to work on building the team and improving the team camaraderie and team bonding. And again, I'm open to suggestions of that at the end. But each player is responsible for bringing a competitive attitude to every team event. Again, never been a problem before. As they get a little bit older, sometimes other things start cropping up and start becoming. But a reminder that I'm not there to coach attitude. I'm not there to coach competitiveness. I'm there to help them get better at soccer. They're the ones that supply all that stuff. And again, this team has been great for it in the past, but just as we need to stay on that as they get a little bit older. Again, I don't expect to coach effort, and then each individual should embrace what makes them so good and try and figure out how we make that part of a team and kind of really push on from there. Any questions on that? Because again, that's just something I want to remind them, if you can remind them that, again, today was great, yesterday was great. I think sometimes they get a little bit tired of because they got more stuff going on. So sometimes they're not quite who they were a year or two ago. But that's kind of, I'm accepting that. But they do need to come, make sure this is kind of, they empty their tanks out before they come and just come here and have fun and play soccer when it's time to play soccer and be fully invested in what they're doing. And they can pick right up from where they leave after that. But I just want full effort every time. So just a reminder on that. Any questions? Wonderful. And then this is really the other thing that I wanted to go through. Player code of conduct. I've taken this from John Ruddock, so some of you have seen this about 40 times by now. And I've just added a few notes specific for our team. So everybody should be there 15 minutes before practice. Ideally, start warming up, but again, get the talking out of the way, do all that kind of stuff. The practices in here at Chelsea Piers, I do ask them. We generally tell them to be here 15 minutes early, and they'll go through their warm up. I've added a band a workout into what we have been doing. So they now have that a little bit more of strength training in what they're doing. Again, I've worked through that. I've asked a few people their opinions on it. So I think it's pretty good, but it's just part of our warm ups, part of our activation stuff. But they should carry on doing that. That being said, that takes a little bit longer. So we do need to start warming up a little bit longer before games. Again, not a problem. We've all got the new kit. Everybody pretty much wears the new kit every time. There's no, it's not slipped back into the Lululemons being worn or pink socks and stuff like that. I think they're past that stage now. I'm a big one for shin guards. Make sure they wear them. And then again, they need to, the jewelry I've noticed is getting bigger. So that needs to be a reminder to just take that off before they get on the field. And then the other big thing is a size 5 ball, fully inflated, because a lot of them aren't bringing them so often. I know they're a nightmare for rolling off in Chelsea Piers. And if you don't have to get an expensive one, but I just need one there that's pumped up and ready to go. Laveley's ball I know has a hole in it, but I also told her you can take that back to Soccer and Rugby and they'll exchange it. They'll just send it back to Nike. So
that's my job on Saturday.
Yeah, I've done it with at least 3 of our league balls recently because same thing. Must be a fault with that type of ball, but So these are club guidelines. Again, these are kind of what we tell people to do this. Not all our coaches stick to this. So if one of your coaches doesn't do it, again, these are John Ruddock's. Players will be deducted 1/4 of a game if a practice is missed in the week, half a game if 2 practices missed or the prior game. I'm changing these for Nice. Our league, the NAL, basically when we have substitution rules, we're allowed to do 3 substitution windows per half. So this works for me. Again, if the kids are there, I want them playing. I understand that you're going to miss stuff. I understand there's high school stuff going on. If you're missing everything, then that's different. But if you're missing because of something, I don't want the kids to have to sit there through an entire half because they've missed 2 practices or something that they couldn't get to. So the NAL rules allow 3 substitution windows. So players missing a practice won't be able to start the game and will sit the first window. And again, by now, a lot of you know how I sub. It's basically, this kind of suits my subbing because it was always kind of 3 slots that I'd kind of do. If they miss 2 practices, they'll sit 2 slots, so they'll come on the 3rd one. If they miss a game the week before, they'll sit the first 2 substitution windows, so they'll still be in on that half. If they miss all practices and a game the week before, then they'll sit till halftime. Games will be 80 minutes long. And again, there may be some situations where we've only got 10 players or 11 players that I'll make the exception on the rule. That isn't based on, because I want that player to play or not follow the rules. It's based on making sure that the kids are safe and we have the right numbers on there. And again, the part of this I kind of really need to make sure I stress is this is not punishment for the player who can't make it. It's more reward for the players that happen at practice. And I completely understand that, again, this is, it's a different part of the world that we live in here than I grew up in, where you never missed anything for soccer and, all that kind of stuff. I know you guys are busy. I know the kids are busy. I know this. I get what this is. I want to have guidelines that we follow, so you know what to expect. The kids know what to expect on game day based on what they've done the week before. Any questions on that?
Nope. Oh, if someone, I don't know, is there any other rule changes on substitutions? Like if someone comes out in the first window, do they have to stay out until the next half, or?
No, I like this. I actually really like this league, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the setup of the league's good. It's just 3 windows. You can come out and go back in. All that kind of stuff. What I can't do is if a kid gets injured, I'd generally bring 1 player out and throw him back in. I'd have to kind of do all the subs at that point. So it's a little bit more for me to think about. But
or play short, right?
But it's pretty good. And same as we did last year. Actually, it wouldn't affect you. That's a bit with the older teams. There was supposed to be no re-entry in some of the games, and the 2 teams would just agree to kind of play regular subbing rules. So that might also change sometimes, but I'll be sticking to kind of the timing based on that. Basically split in half into thirds. And then for games, arrive 45 minutes before when you can. I understand, again, hectic lives, hectic part of the world, but I expect the kids to be 45 minutes before, ready to go. That gives them, I've extended this now, we probably need to warm up for 40 minutes. And again, this is for kids' safety more than anything else. So that gives them 5 minutes, bathroom, talk, take the massive earrings out, all that kind of stuff. So that's just what I've done. Again, if you're late and we've got 11 players, I generally, again, if you know me long enough, I will generally start the first 11 players at the game if they've been to practice. Again, I do keep attendance at the minute, but I sometimes make an error or 2 there. I'll do my best to keep it right, and I do quite often ask the girls if they've been at both practices and if they're on time. So I'll try and do it as fair as possible with that. If for any reason you can't attend practice, I'm fine with your RSVPing for the practices and saying you can't be there, because again, I can check that. For a game, if you can't attend, can you send me an email or send me a note, send me a chat in Team Snap and just let me know that you can't be there, and kind of why. Again, acceptable reasons in my book for not being able to do stuff. And again, I'm going to be more lenient with the rules are family, religion, and school. I get that those things probably take precedence over our soccer program for some people, not everybody, not me. And then again, the rest of that stuff is kind of general stuff that we've talked about. Take responsibility for learning the game. Take responsibility for your actions. you know by now, no coaching from the sidelines as parents, and then treat everybody as you'd like to treat yourself, as you'd like to be treated yourself. So that's it. Again, you can go through the rest of this. If you haven't seen it before, again, I haven't changed that much, but again, it gives us what we do, what we look at in training, formations. You know, basically most of our stuff's built off a 4-3-3 because that's the current trend with US soccer. Sometimes I'll change it. As last year I changed it to a 4-2-3-1, which is very similar, but just a little bit more stable in the midfield. But again, I'm happy to talk about that individually to anybody that wants to talk about it, but I'm not going to bore you all as a group as we go there. As far as leagues go, right now we're in the NAL. So again, there was a whole, I told some people about this, there was a whole thing with the GA last year where, you know, they invited us in, they told us it was going to be what I've told everybody it is going to be, and then it basically gradually disintegrated as it went through, and then the NAL were the team that the league that sanctioned them. I'm really happy with what's going on with the NAL right now. I want to distance myself as much as possible from the Girls Academy because, you know, basically I just don't like people that don't tell the truth. Between us, I have also put an application in for the ECRL. I don't know whether that's the right league for us, but I want to give us all available options to make decisions based on, you know, whether we get accepted in there, whether you know, whether they're going to take us in. Last year we were blocked by CFC, so that might happen again this year. This year they talk about regionalising it a little bit more. So again, when it gets to that point, you know, I'm a pretty open book. I'll probably talk to a lot of you guys about it, or all of you about it, and just see what the best thing is for our girls to do. Any questions on the league? This is so easy. All right. I mean, I think that's really it. Showcase.
Quick question.
Go on,
Quick question. Sorry. So if the NAL, if we're trying to distance ourselves from Girls Academy, continue to develop, like, how does it work? What's the point, or is there not a connection point?
So the NAL is they've done a couple of things. They've done the boys. They basically are the MLS second group. So MLS Next second group. So Beachside second team plays in it. New York Soccer Club's boys second team plays in it. So that's kind of how it's gone. And they have taken some of those. They then take some clubs in that aren't on the MLS Next second teams, have them play against them. If they do really well, then they move them into the MLS Next. That was the idea with the GA. For the girls, the NAL, from the conversations I've had recently, are trying to kind of become their own thing, and which means they need to figure out the showcasing, figure it out, you know, how we then get kids into college, and how we become those events that the college coach is going to watch. So there's a bit of building for them to do. So this is why I wanted to put the application in for the ECRL as well, to make sure that we have as many options as possible. Again, I don't think the ECRL is quite the league that they're selling it on as, you know, they're not getting a ton of college coaches going to watch the games and all that kind of stuff. But they're both building, so I want to try and get it in there. But you know, I spoke to a couple of other programs, and they spoke to NAL, and they also believe that the way they're building is going to be very good, based on what the boys they've done with the boys, and a lot of that was based around the tournament they had down at IMG, where they had the NAL and the MLS Next playing side by side, and they said it was phenomenal. So that's two different programs told me exactly that. It was great, and they've told me that either this year or next year they're looking to do that for the girls as well. So it would be kind of a January trip down to Florida for down to IMG. If they do it there, we should be follow along the same side as would be then probably next to the GA teams when they're down there as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, and then the other thing that I'm very aware of, and I remember being with the 2005 team I coached, being very conscious of it then, and thinking by the time, you know, the next flock of players come through, then, or team come through that they're as talented, which is, you know, probably this group 2009, that we'd have this all set in stone, that we'd know where they're going recruiting. But we are looking at doing a couple more recruiting things, and I am talking to a couple of college coaches about coming on the staff and helping us build that more, so we can get these kids in front of more college coaches more often. So that's kind of where I'm looking. Again, I know not everybody on this Zoom or on our team wants to go and play college soccer. My thing is I want to give everybody the chance to be able to do what they have the potential to do. So it would be that you don't have to do it. You don't have to be in this program. You can literally just come and play soccer because you like it every week. And these kids are really good. If you stop halfway through high school, I'm fine with it. If you stop after high school, I'm fine with it. If you play through college, if you play professionally, I'm fine with that as well. I just want to kind of always give the opportunity for those ones that want to go the furthest to go, and we have the talent level to do it. Any other questions?
Dave, in terms of, so we have New Jersey travel in April, but then you don't know any other future travel as of yet?
No, again, with doing State Cup, which we are going to do, that regionals is in West Virginia. And again, whether we go to West Virginia we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm not going to hold everybody to say you have to go to West Virginia right now. The fact it's in West Virginia is going to probably stop other people from wanting to go as well.
But so, that's June travel.
June travel, and again, I know people have already booked stuff, so I'm definitely not holding you to say you have to do that right now. We're playing in the cup because people said they wanted to do it, and we want to give the kids the opportunity to do that. Love to retain the state title as well, but no other travel right now. As soon as I know, I'll tell you guys as well.
Do you know the days that the State Cup game will be, or at least the first game?
No, I don't. It's actually coming up pretty soon. They said they were going to do it in March, so that was another thing. The State Cup is a different format this year than it was last year. It's three round robin games, which are starting relatively soon. They've just closed registration for State Cup, I believe, and then it'll be knockout. So it'll be like the World Cup setup. So we're guaranteed another 3 games on top of the, I think, 14 we have or 13 we have scheduled in the league. So we're going to have a lot of games. So it's going to be basically a twice a week kind of game schedule. So again,
and you think it's in March, the first game?
They said it could be in March, but they haven't got anything out yet, so it's probably going to be April.
Okay.
But yeah, then the final will be, we go through till June with that. All right, any other questions? Wonderful. All right, I got a load of girls waiting for me to go and train them now out there. So thank you very much. Again, hopefully we've got an open line of communication with everybody. I'm more than happy to talk with you. I'm more than happy to talk individually. I'm more than happy to answer text messages. I'm more than happy to answer emails if you have them. Don't ever think you're bothering me, because I'd rather hear from you than from you to get frustrated because you don't think you can reach me. So anytime you have something, just reach out and let me know. And again, I'm happy to answer anything I can, and I'll be very honest with you as well. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. So to summarize, no big earrings, size 5 balls pumped up. All right, thank you, everybody.
Dave,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. This weekend.
Bye.